And today I figured since this is a hot button topic, we would talk about it. And not only would we talk about it, I'm in a unique position where I understand immigration to a very good level, to a high level, excuse me, because I used to actually work for ICE HSI back in the day. And as you guys can see here, I got a sign next to me that says, "Deport all immigrants. ICE is right. No one is above the law. Send them all back. Change my mind." So obviously it's a provoking sign, so much so that we went to a company and said, "Hey, can you guys make us a sign?" And they said no because we offended them that much. So we had to write it on our own. So we improvised. I guess people forget that we have the First Amendment for free speech. And, they want to go ahead and get mad at what we say, but that's fine. We went ahead and wrote it ourselves. So, yes, again, guys, the sign says, "Deport all immigrants." It should be illegal immigrants, but that's fine. ICE is right. No one is above the law. Send them all back. Change my mind. But I think people have the common sense to understand we mean illegal immigrants, but that's fine. Now we'll make fun of Icy and Sophie later for being women, which means incompetent. But anyway, guys, welcome to the stream. They could see the sign. Oh, good, nice. Okay. I saw Bill's nice angle for the sign. I'm watching it back on the playback. So yeah. Also, as you guys know, there's a conflict going on in the Middle East. Israel attacked Iran yesterday, and we are on the verge of a potential nuclear fallout here. So my other prompt, which I'm working on a sign right now as we speak, is Israel is not our greatest ally. Change my mind. So we could talk about either, whether it be immigration, send them all back, or Israel is not our greatest ally. The mic is open to anyone that wants to come up and have a discussion on it, because I do think that discussions are important. No, I'm not famous. Not yet. Someone walked by and asked if I was famous. I'm not. So yeah, if anyone wants to have a discussion, they feel free to walk up.
Yeah, so
what's up?
The whole Israel offensive took place like 36 hours ago, and you already have an opinion about something? You don't know all the facts.
What was that?
You don't know all the facts.
Okay, what's your question?
No, I mean, like, if...
You got to talk into the mic.
Yes, so Iran did fight back in Israel. They targeted a helicopter.
I can barely hear you, man. You got to talk into the mic.
Okay, Iran did attack us after. They targeted a helicopter station. So
yeah, that's because Israel attacked them first.
Because they have a nuclear bomb, and we came out of the Holocaust.
They don't have a nuclear bomb.
Well, they're very close, and we came out of the Holocaust knowing that it's possible.
As well as
one
many...
second, let me
Hold
speak.
on.
My turn. We came out of the Holocaust, and unfortunately, we can't learn from that. We have to learn from that lesson.
Okay, so your argument, you said that they have a nuclear bomb?
They're very close.
Yes, they're what's called a nuclear threshold state, like many other countries, to include Japan, Brazil, a bunch of countries.
Japan is a democratic country last time I checked.
Well, here's the thing.
Brazil, you said? Brazil?
Yeah, Brazil's also
that is not a democratic country.
Nuclear threshold. Nuclear threshold. There's many countries that basically...
But Brazil is not an enemy of Israel.
I said a nuclear threshold country. There's many countries that are nuclear threshold countries. Because you're coming in and you're saying... They have a nuclear program, which is why they're attacking. I'm telling you, they don't have a nuclear bomb.
I said to you 4 times. They're very close.
Okay, let me ask you this: Israel has nuclear weapons, right?
No, they actually never acknowledged that. They have a policy of not acknowledging that. And even if they did,
they do.
That would have been since 1940. So that's 90 years that they didn't attack anybody with nuclear bombs. So they're a democratic country. We don't just take bombs, and it's a deterrent that if Iran were to hit us with a nuclear weapon, we would retaliate against Iran with nuclear weapons, but we will not initiate with a nuclear weapon.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you know how Israel got their nuclear weapons?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
How'd they get them?
They rescued scientists from Germany, and they were able to make a nuclear weapon. Jewish people are very smart people.
No, they stole uranium from the United States to conduct their nuclear weapons program, and it's completely illegal. And
you want to get me out on a small detail? Fine, I'll give it to you. You win, but I'm still asking you a general question.
No, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Your nuclear program is illegal. You stole technology from the United States to manufacture it.
Is the United States nuclear program illegal?
We're the United States. We are the ones that give you
ask you a simple yes or no. Is the United States a nuclear enemy?
Here's the thing. We abide by the IAEA. Israel does not. That is why you guys don't acknowledge your nuclear program, because if you did, you would have to lose all the foreign aid that we give you that's been in law since the 1970s under the Carter administration. So the reality is, I find it interesting.
But if you said
yeah,
so,
I know you didn't
I
know
agree
that.
with you.
Most Israelis don't know this. So let me tell you this.
I'm not
It's
Israeli.
absolutely
I'm not
hilarious.
Israeli. I'm actually
That's fine.
Christian.
I'll give you the dark history of Israel. The reality is, they don't want Iran to have a nuclear program, a civilian one at that, when they have an illegal nuclear program, which they stole the supplies from the United States to get. And then on top of that, they have threatened nuclear war on multiple occasions, like the Yom Kippur War in the 1970s. Israel has an illegal nuclear program. This is why they can't acknowledge it. So for them to sit there and say Iran can have a civilian nuclear program while they have an illegal weapons-grade nuclear program is the highest level of irony.
But they're not a democracy.
Excuse me?
They're not a democracy.
Israel?
No, Iran is not a democracy.
Why is that our business?
Because if you're not a democracy, your level of trust goes down because we can't trust you. If you're a democratic country, you abide by certain.
So here's the thing. Again, my
that
point
we're not
is,
gonna like cause mass destruction on people.
Okay,
that
here's
we
the
just
thing.
No,
Iran is not our problem. That's Israel's problem, and we shouldn't be involved. That's my point. I said Israel's not our greatest ally, and we need to stop fighting their wars.
so you're saying that who should be involved? It should be the who?
I said we should not be fighting their wars.
Okay. All right. Nice to meet you.
That's my position.
Nice to meet you.
No problem. Who's up next? What's up, guys? How are y'all doing? Yeah,
Yo.
so two different problems, guys. Immigration or Israel. What's up?
I'm a Navy veteran, dog. I done served the country and everything. I agree with everything you're saying. But if we get rid of all of them, who's gonna do all the work? Americans are lazy. Now I'm in for real construction jobs. Who's gonna do all that shit? Everybody's lazy, bro.
Well, here's the thing. I'm talking about illegal immigration in particular.
Yeah.
Illegal immigration.
Come on, man. Hey,
We got to protect our borders. If we don't have borders, we don't have a country. And as far as finding a workforce, we can replace those immigrants with Americans. Now, here's the thing. I know these companies want to cut corners and save money and increase profit margins, but we got to do things the right way.
hell yeah, I respect that.
Thank you for your service.
Hey,
Who's up next?
yeah, hey.
Who's up next? And guys, right now, like I said, we're either talking immigration or Israel is not our greatest ally. So I'd be happy to discuss either topic. We're getting assigned for the next one. So that's kind of where we are. We already got a crowd out here. This is nice. This is nice. What's up, man? How are you?
Yo, what's up, Myron?
Yo.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Let's say somebody came up to you, they punched you in the face because they thought you might have been doing something, conspiring against them.
Yeah.
And then you hit them back. Who do you think would be at fault, you or the person that punched you first?
I like where you're going with that one. Yeah, the person that punched you first. Yeah. And
would
that's
say so.
exactly what happened yesterday. Yeah, no, I know. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's all. Thanks, man.
No worries, brother. The Great Awakening is here, man. I like that. Got some high IQ people in the audience. So, yeah. Again, guys, the topic is either mass deportations. I am pro mass deportations of illegal aliens, or Israel is not our greatest ally. Either one we can talk about. As you guys know, literally a war was just started yesterday. Trending topic. So we could discuss either one. And yeah, because we've had a crazy week this week between riots all across the United States in blue cities in response to the ICE raids. And we also had Israel launch a preemptive attack against Iran yesterday, where they bombed several strategic locations to include nuclear facilities and assassinated Iranian officials. Look, see, we got a Zionist that went by saying, thank God they did. Fuck Israel. Fuck Israel. So, anyway. It's funny. The Zionists walk by and they just like throw the middle finger up and, The reality is, guys, we should not be supporting Israel whatsoever. We need to end all aid to Israel. They commit acts of genocide in our name. They use our tax dollars to bomb kids. The Gaza Strip is over 50% children. And 70% of the people that have been killed in the Gaza Strip are women and children. And we've been funding this. So we need to end all aid to Israel. I've been they don't scare me. The truth is the truth. So, and we've also had obviously the crazy riots all across the United States, like in Los Angeles and New York City, because people are stupid and don't understand immigration law. And they think we should just let anybody in and not have any type of borders, which is wild. So, yeah. No takers? Everybody agrees? Deport them all? No Juan is above the law? Sure. What's up, man? Welcome.
Welcome. Sounds good. Yeah. I believe that the United States has nothing to do and should have nothing to do with this war in Israel. America should mind their own business, maintain the American sovereignty, and they really need to focus on America and stop worrying about everybody else, because that's America's biggest fail, is that they worry about everybody else and they don't even pay attention to their own country.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the billions of dollars we sent to Israel, we could use that easily to get rid of the homeless problem or prop up some of the Americans that are suffering day to day without, aid, medical aid or whatever. Like, there's so many different things we can use that money for, and to fund foreign wars in the Middle East that don't benefit us, it's ridiculous. And I feel like we're repeating history with 2003. Trump is going to tarnish his legacy by doing this.
100%. I think America needs to mind their business and worry about America.
I agree, brother. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see we got some sensible Americans here. Thank you. So, yeah, guys, again, no Juan is above the law.
Hey,
what? End all aid to Israel is my position.
What's your opinion on transgenders?
Doesn't exist.
Yeah!
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, there are only two genders, guys. I know they try to tell you otherwise in blue cities like LA and New York City and stuff like that, but the reality is there's only two genders. Anything else is a mental illness. I don't think gays should have the right to adopt children. I don't have a problem with gay people, being gay. I just don't think that they should have the ability to adopt or raise children. What was that? Go ahead, ask your question.
I just wanted to ask, what's so bad about immigrants? Like, what are they doing wrong?
I never said anything's bad about immigrants. I'm saying we need to deport all the illegal immigrants.
Why is that? What if they're doing it not any harm, like not mean any harm?
Well, they are doing harm.
How?
They're utilizing resources that they shouldn't be utilizing. They're not paying taxes. They're here illegally, breaking the INA, Immigration Nationality Act. A lot of the times they come here and abuse the system. And I have no problem with people that want to come here legally. But the reality is we need to absolutely start enforcing our immigration laws. And if we don't, we're going to run into the problems we have in LA right now, where they're overrun with illegal aliens and they can't even barely control the city.
Thank you. I agree with that.
Fair enough. Thank you. Yeah, mass immigration is a problem, chat. I said chat. Well, chat's here. But for the audience here, mass immigration is a big problem. I know people don't like to hear this, but it is a big problem. And if you guys don't agree with me, go to London, go to Toronto, go to France, Paris, and you're going to see what mass immigration does to a society. It absolutely destroys it from the inside out. We have to uphold certain American values and a certain demographic to stay America. Otherwise, we are going to become the nation of the immigrants. Hey!
Yo, what up, Myron?
Shout out to Jake fucking Shields, man. We got to down to Marco for him or something?
Don't really have much of a question. Just randomly saw you here and be weird not to. I've been busy today. Barely saw the news, but I saw Iran is striking Israel back. Do they have a right to defend themselves?
According to Article 51, they actually do have a right to defend themselves. So, yes. And Tel Aviv is on fire right now because they're, fucking around and finding out. And quite frankly, I think the U.S. needs to stay out of it.
Yeah, I don't want innocents to die, but they literally attacked Iran, and they got attacked back, and now they're crying, asking for America to get involved.
Yeah.
Do you think America will get involved?
I hope we don't, man, but I think the reality is clearly it's being proven right now that Israel does not have the ability to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. The Iron Dome is breaking right now as we speak. They've been hit by several hypersonic missiles. So we are going to have to step in and keep them from, getting destroyed, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a mix of kind of sad and kind of beautiful watching them get fucked up. They've had this coming for years. I never want to watch innocents die, but they have just been brutalizing kids for years. So to watch those fuckers finally get a little bit, it feels a little good.
Yeah, I mean, I think if people understood that over the past 40 years, right, Israel's done everything in their power to destabilize the entire Middle East. They've either created civil wars, overthrown governments, or bribed several countries in the Middle East to basically adopt a pro-Israel stance. And it's created a lot of problems for us. I mean, the Iraq War is one of the biggest L's ever. It destroyed Bush's legacy, and I think we're repeating history here.
Yeah, that was fought just for Israel.
Yeah,
They've been
all these wars for Israel.
Yeah, they've been nothing but a parasite in bringing it down.
I agree.
Americans are seeing it, though. You see the shift happening. The boomers might not, but our generation, we are sick and fucking tired of Israel, and I don't think it's going back in.
Yeah,
So.
It's good that more people are waking up. Obviously, it's horrible that it took October 7th for Americans to figure this out. But yeah, our tax dollars are being used by nefarious, apartheid, ethno-centric state that doesn't care about anyone and kills innocent people.
Neither one of us want to pay to kill children. Well, I didn't have much. I just saw you and figured I just say what's up. So great talking, Myron.
Hey, shout out to you, Jake, man. Hey, I feel a lot better with you here.
Hell yeah.
Hey, if anybody tries me, he's going to attack you, bro.
Yo, what up, man? I just want you to elaborate on something because I don't really agree with how you said LGBTQ shouldn't be able to adopt children.
Yeah.
Because you're basically saying that someone's sexuality can determine whether or not they'd be good parents, and that's just prejudice.
Yeah, so the reason why I say that is because children need to be protected. And children are very impressionable based on the environment around them. So if a child is growing up in a household that doesn't have a father and a mother, that in itself is destructive. We know that a two-parent household, the nuclear family, is the basis of any strong society. So if we're going to allow sexual degenerates, because that's what they are, gays and lesbians, they're sexual degenerates. If we're going to allow them to have and raise children, I think that's problematic for the child. I think children should have a fair shot at life and have a stable upbringing. And unfortunately, having two same-gender parents is just not conducive to that. So again, I have no problem with people wanting to do whatever they want to do in their bedroom. That isn't really my concern. My concern is we don't need to indoctrinate children with that.
But just because there's two women in a relationship doesn't mean that one of those women can't play the father role. You don't have to be a man to play a father role and discipline a child and instill those values that a father would. You don't have to be a man for that.
No, you actually do. And this is actually why the black community fails so much, because they have a lot of women pretending to be men, but the problem is that women can't teach little boys how to become men at the end of the day. So, we can use like the black community where, a lot of children grow up without a father in the household, and the men end up becoming erratic, violent, destructive, commit crimes, because a father's job is to come in and protect his son from going to jail and protect his daughter from getting on the stripper pole. That's a father's job. He is the disciplinarian. The mother is there to nurture. And unfortunately, single mothers can't do both, right? Look, for all the single mothers out there that are struggling, I understand. But the reality is, if you want the highest rates of your child becoming a productive member of society, a two-parent household, we know, is by far the best way to do it.
All right. I understand what you're saying, but I think your viewpoint is just homophobic.
Well, here's the thing. People call me homophobic, anti-Semitic, racist, but until anyone can call me a liar, then I'll be offended. The truth sometimes hurts, and I get it. I know I'm saying some things here that might be considered radical or far right, but the truth is we got to have these difficult discussions sometimes, regardless of people's feelings, and that's kind of where we are. Anybody else? Just wait in line. Oh, he's cool. He's cool. We could let him after. But yeah. But yeah, just wait in line though. Wait in line.
So on
It's
the
fine.
topic of immigration, again, how real is this threat of sleeper cell agents?
Can you talk a little bit louder
Yeah.
to the mic so I want everybody to be able to hear you?
Yeah. So back on the topic of immigration,
Yeah.
how real is this threat of sleeper cell agents right now? And do you think it's going to coincide with these No King protests tomorrow?
When you say sleeper cells with what? I'm confused.
Like people that came in through the border under the Biden administration
okay.
that might be coming out tomorrow, hiding within all the protesters. I don't know if something might come of that. I don't know.
That's always a risk with open borders is people crossing in that want to do damage to the United States, right? Which is why I'm very pro strong immigration laws. But time will only tell.
I'm
But
seeing the sentiment online right now. Everyone's talking about sleeper cell agents, and they're like trying to kind of prepare us. Like I saw on Fox News too, they're trying to kind of prepare us of that possibility.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. Typically, that like kind of sends a signal off that something might be coming.
Yeah.
To that. So I don't know.
Well,
are you
I
going to
will
be staying
say-
in the city, or have you thought about like maybe ditching out just because it's so populated?
Well, terrorists have come through the southwest border before, right? It has happened. So again, this is why strong borders are so important, right? Like it's already dangerous enough given the political stance of where we stand. So this is why we need strong borders. So I agree.
I think it's so
but
many
I'm not
things
sure about the sleeper
coinciding
cells
right
now.
It's just so many things coinciding at once. It's Trump's birthday with the massive parade, and then obviously the Middle Eastern conflict and all that stuff. It's like if it was, for example, Iranian sleeper cells or people posing as Iranians, then it would be like tomorrow. I feel like that something like that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, people have been talking about potential false flags, right? It's happened before. Israel's done false
it'd be a
flags
reason
before.
for us to get involved too, right?
Yeah, so
I don't know.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, appreciate it though.
No worries, man. Who's up next?
Yo,
Yeah.
so what's really up with Trump and Elon arguing, bro? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think people need to understand that Elon Musk is a liberal, right? He only got on the Trump wagon after he survived the assassination attempt last year. He was a DeSantis supporter. He was a Democrat voter for years. So I think Trump Musk alongside other, big tech billionaires, Peter Thiel, PayPal Mafia, Bill Ackman, all these guys, they kind of got behind Trump because they understood that he was going to win the election. And they know that he's going to be a bit more aggressive in the Middle East when it comes to preserving Israel. So I think for all those different reasons, they went ahead and got behind him, even though he's a Republican and they've been historically Democrats. But yeah, Elon is a liberal. He's always been a liberal.
But without Elon, bro, half of this shit wouldn't even exist, bro.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, I mean for real, bro.
Elon is really good. He's really good at taking credit for other people's work.
Elon has more money than Trump.
No, I understand that, but he's really good at taking credit for other people's work.
Yeah.
That's what he's really good at.
And Trump, I love Trump too, bro, but I hate to see bros beefing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming. I knew it was going to happen at some point. Two big egos.
I think it's all fake. I think they're just doing clout chasing.
Oh no, it's real. Trump holds grudges.
Oh,
He didn't want to take his phone
Have you
call
met
after.
Trump?
What's that?
Have you met Trump one-on-one?
Not one-on-one.
Oh.
Not one-on-one.
Have you met Byron?
Who?
Byron.
Oh no.
No, not Biden.
No, I never met Biden.
Byron, the dude with the suit that
Oh
walks
no.
around with him.
No, I never have. Who's up next? What's up, man?
Myron, I appreciate you for being out here. I have a question for you just because you're knowledgeable, my man. But I'm going to tell you, you literally gave me personal advice. You know what you're talking about, so I like that you're telling these people. I was like on Instagram, and you told me, keep building myself, and I'm here. But look, my question for you is, it's kind of like a statement, but it's a question. Can you please tell these people what is wrong right now, but with like immigration, because you were a former
Yeah, I used to be an
with,
agent.
with immigration, the fact that they're not gonna like this, but motherfuckers is spilling in this. I don't wanna curse. Too many people are spilling in this country, and it's a genuine problem. Not just for people that want to get on Twitter, but people every day. I'm talking about civilians.
Yeah.
What do you have to say for the future and what it looks like? Because you're pretty well educated on that, but like.
Well, I mean, mass immigration is a problem. I mean, if you don't agree, look at Los Angeles right now, right? Los Angeles has been on fire. They can barely get it under control. And this is what happens when you have a large portion of people as illegal aliens or people that are, maybe sometimes first generation or whatever. And the reality, and this is the ugly part, is the United States has an identity, right? And for us to preserve that identity, certain demographics have to be met. And mass immigration, if we continue down this path, it's not going to be good for us. You could look at London, where the knife crime is rampant. You could look at Toronto, where you don't even know if you're in Canada anymore or in India. You can look at France, which is, overrun by North African refugees, and there's crime rampant in the streets. So you look at any of these blue cities in America that have been getting burned down during these riots.
And I don't want to cut you off, but that's exactly why I'm asking this question, because these people, they want to blame crime on like the boogeyman. You
Yeah.
feel me? They're the ones letting the crime in. People want to feel safe. People want to, walk their kids. People want to do this and that.
Yeah.
But they don't realize they're voting and allowing what's fucking their future up. That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
these
I
people
mean-
know their future if this is what they want to do,
Like the thing
I'm
is,
a full-blooded American. I was born in Iowa, you know what I mean? So
no, that's cool. Yeah, what people don't understand is that you won't. The thing with immigration is, you don't realize it's too late until your country is already sieged, right? So like, you won't realize like, oh man, we let too many people in until you look around. And you're like, oh, what's going on here? Are we in America? Or are we some other third world country? So I think we need to take proactive steps now, and I think we should have an immigration moratorium for at least 1 to 5 years. Because we have a broken immigration system where people are abusing the visa system, they're abusing the border,
Literally.
they're abusing marriage to go ahead and get citizenship, they're abusing the document benefit fraud. So people think it's just illegal aliens coming across the border. No, we're getting beat in so many other different ways that the American public isn't even aware of. So we need to absolutely get immigration under control.
and this is the last thing I'm
And
going
it
to
starts
say.
with mass deportations, despite what they try to tell you in these blue cities. We need to deport the people that are here illegally.
And I'm not here to yap. This is the last thing I'm here to say.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the illegal ones.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to get you banned, but the legal ones too that are fucking the country up. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love what you do. I've been watching for years. I literally was on one of the shows and you gave me advice and I took it. I wasn't like a bitch about it, Took it straight and I was a man about it and I appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
It's QB, bitch.
All right, cool. So I'm getting another sign made, but I have 2 signs, guys. It's either immigration or Israel is not our greatest ally. Those are the 2 topics here.
Yeah, I
So-
was talking about Israel. That's what I meant. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
I don't wanna
Israel's
get
not
you
our
banned.
greatest ally. No, you're good. You're good. I'm going to get another sign here, obviously, given the events that have transpired over the past 24 hours. But yeah, anyone that wants to come up to the mic and discuss immigration or anything like that, sure. What's up?
Hey, so is it true that Putin and Trump are on good terms now, and that he gave him a kill shot? He
They're
basically told
amicable.
him- Huh?
They're amicable. I wouldn't say friends, but there's a mutual respect between the two, which is good. I
No,
think.
but I've seen something on the news where Trump said he gave him a validation to go do some shit.
I
You what I'm
don't
talking
know.
about? Look it up, bro. You'll see it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I know Ukraine ran an operation a week ago where they struck a bunch of
Hey, I'm
Russian
not gonna
jets.
lie. Hey, I fought with Putin too. Putin's a badass, bro. All
right, who's up next? Who's up next?
No, I'm being for real.
All right. No, I like Boone as well. I do. Again, guys, it's the prompt right here with immigration, or my other topic, which we're making a sign right now, is Israel's not our greatest ally. 2 different things. What's up, man?
Finish what you're saying, Myron. My fault. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you good. You good.
Yeah.
What's up?
I just wanted to point out to the chat. I know last week everybody was saying I look like AJ Brown, but no, I'm not related to AJ Brown. I'm not T-Pain's brother, D-Pain. I just want to give y'all a shout out. You guys were definitely grilling me last week, but I got you this time though. But no, I just wanted to kind of talk about obviously what's going on overseas and Iran and Israel.
Yeah.
Could you just talk a little bit about honestly what your thoughts on it and what do you think we should do as Americans to kind of fight against our government for it?
Well, edit it. So I think we need to stay out of it. I think we need to stay out of it. I think Israel needs to fight their own wars, right? And they need to defend themselves, as they always claim. Because I think at this point, it costs us a lot of money, hurts us diplomatically, severs other relationships. The entire international community pretty much condemns Israel.
Right.
And I think us being tied to them as intimately as we are hurts our credibility. And I think that those tax dollars that we spend can be better used to make this country better versus making them better.
Thanks.
I think Israel started a lot of fights that, quite frankly, can't cash a check on. And I think we need to stop being their safety net.
Yeah, because I don't know if you're aware, but did you know about the it's called Operation? I think it's called like Operation Great Lioness or something like that. Long story short, we supplied them with military strikes prior to them striking
What
Iran.
year? What year was this?
This was like Tuesday. This was last Tuesday.
Oh, are you talking about when they went back into Gaza?
No. Before the strike happened on Friday. Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Supposedly, I was just reading an article about how like because we just passed a $7.4 billion military package to Israel, and this was like recently.
Yeah, we're always giving them money.
Yeah. So
we're
like,
always, and the thing is that it just cruises through the government. It gets signed by both sides, right? Because they obviously lobby on both sides. They donate to both sides. So, Israel has both the Democrats and the Republicans at their fingertips. And I think we need to adopt a new mantra of staying out of foreign conflicts.
Yeah.
It hasn't served us.
But how powerful is Israel, though? Since I would consider them as a small state over there in the Middle East, but obviously they're controlling a lot of our government officials. Like, why is that?
Well, they have a fantastic intelligence program, right? As critical as I am of Israel, one of the things that they do very well is they have a very good intelligence community between the Mossad, Unit 8200, Shin Bet, which is their equivalent to the FBI. And they have to, because obviously it's a smaller country, so they need to kind of focus more on, clandestine operations, stopping terrorism, cultivating informants, using operations like the pager operation. So that's what they kind of have to rely on, right? Because the military is fairly small, but we give them a lot of money and aid to allow them to defend themselves, so that's what they do well. But obviously with that capacity, they do a lot of bullshit as well.
Yeah. And my last thing is, do you think that this could be potentially a distraction from not just our ICE immigration with what's going on here, but also what's happening over in Gaza as well?
Are the protests distracting from what's going on? Or
vice versa?
I think it depends on like what you're paying attention to. There's some people out there that only care about foreign policy and they're paying attention to that, right? But then there's other people that, are concerned with immigration matters. I think it's important to like obviously look at everything and see what's going on and talk about both topics. But it comes down to what people are interested in. But I would argue most Americans in general typically don't care about foreign policy, and I think that's a big problem.
Why? Why is that?
Because foreign policy is the only thing that you don't really have control of as an American citizen. You have to rely upon your government, your elected government officials to handle that for you. And if they drop the ball on that, we're talking about increased gas prices, increased food prices. I'll give you an example. So a lot of people don't know, when Joe Biden was in office and Russia invaded Ukraine, that could have been avoided. But since he's incompetent, they invaded, created problems. We've been sending them a bunch of money. The price of food went up because Ukraine is a breadbasket of Europe. Right. So that ends up having like a cascading effect all across the world because we live in a globalized world. So a lot of Americans complain about grocery prices being high. It's one of the main things that people voted on in the 2024 election.
Right.
But a lot of people aren't able to trace that back. Like that came from really bad foreign policy, a component of it. So like, when it comes to, things domestically, right? If there's crime, you can always move. If inflation is high, you can always make more money. If, they're legislating trannies reading to kids, you can always pull your kid out and put them in a private school. But when it comes to foreign policy, there's nothing you can do to prevent a nuclear war. There's nothing you can do to, offset the problems that hit us economically from what is going on internationally. So that's why I think more Americans should pay attention to foreign policy. But historically, they never have.
Yeah.
Because it does affect us. It does.
Yeah, we got to do better. So
yeah.
What do you think we should do as citizens here in the United States to kind of...
I would say, it starts with education, right? It starts with education. I watch, alternative media, right-wing media, left-wing media, and I kind of garner the information from all different resources.
All right, perfect. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Because there was always the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, facts. That's true.
Well, good questions, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Who's up next? Send them all back or no aid to Israel? What's up?
Here, he's up next. Here.
What happened? Oh, he does one. Oh, he's waiting. Okay, cool. Oh, this is the line over here? Okay.
It's on the right.
What's up, man?
Yo, what you doing, bro? How you doing? You good? Having a good night?
What was that?
You having a good night?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, that's what's up. All right, so I got a question for you. What do you think about Trump's policy on this Gaza thing, bro?
What do I think about Trump? What?
Yeah, the Trump's policy on this Gaza thing. Towards the mic, yeah.
Okay.
What do you think on the Trump policy on the Gaza? Yeah.
On Gaza?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, unfortunately, he's enabled the Israelis to kill more people. He lifted the ban on the 2,000-pound bombs, the bunker busters. He's allowed them to he's given them more aid. I was hoping that he would kind of reel in Netanyahu a little bit, get them to end the conflict sooner, kind of stop a wider conflict in the Middle East. But we see it's the opposite has happened, right? So it's not good.
So you think the free state bullshit is like relevant whatsoever?
A two-state solution?
Yes, sir.
As much as I would like a two-state solution, and I do actually want peace for the Israelis as well, it's just not viable anymore.
How do you want peace if they murdered thousands of people?
Well, again, I want both of them to be able to live in harmony, but that's almost impossible now at this point.
But it's our land, bro.
And they're expanding the West Bank. right? They're
Yeah.
they're expanding the settlements illegally. A two-state solution at this point is going to be damn near impossible. The only thing I can think of is there would have to be one state, and they would have to give Palestinians equal representation. But we know that's never going to happen.
It's never gonna
because they
happen.
want it to be
Yeah.
a Jewish majority state. So we're in a very bad place, and they're already talking right now about trying to move these people out of Gaza, Libya. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know if a two-state solution is viable anymore.
I got one more question.
Yeah.
So you think when he was running, right? When Trump was running, his opinion on the Gaza thing was still relevant to what he's doing now? It was still the same, or he changed his opinion once he took office?
Well, first he said we're going to take Gaza.
Right.
Got a lot of backlash in the media
Yeah.
for it.
Uh-huh.
Stopped, right? But now Israel's saying they're going to take Gaza. So the plan is still there. It's just that Trump is not advertising it anymore as an American thing. They're going to do it. And this has been the plan the whole time.
You know, as a 22-year-old, I voted for Trump, right? 100%. I thought he was going to do better, blah, 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 blah. He took office. He didn't do shit.
What's that?
I voted for Trump.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to fix it.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
didn't do shit, bro. His solution, two states never going to happen.
Yeah, well, the problem with the two-state solution is that we got Netanyahu in power. And he's been trying to stop the two-state since he's been in.
Uh-huh.
He was involved in killing Yitzhak Rabin, who was the former prime minister
Right,
that
yeah.
was trying to get the two-state.
Uh-huh.
So, the Likud party does not want to. They just want to take the entire place over.
So again, what's your opinion? Do you think what Trump is doing is relevant in Gaza's case for all the Muslims in America, for the Arabs in America, for all the people that wanted justice for Gaza, right? You think who voted for Trump, he's doing the right thing?
Right now, no. Right now, no. He's enabling Israel,
That's
which
all
is not
I wanted,
good.
bro. That's
Yeah,
all I wanted.
no
Thank you
worries.
so much.
No problem, man. Take it easy, bro. Who's up next? I know we got a line, right? We got a line? What's up?
I would like your opinion on ICE rating of 5th grade graduation. I just like your opinion on that.
Rating a 5th grade graduation?
Yeah.
That is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. But the reason why they probably did that is because normally when you're looking for people, whether it's a fugitive or an illegal alien or whatever, typically you find them through their kids. So that's just a strategy that law enforcement uses a lot of times to find fugitives or individuals that are evading arrest. So that makes sense. It sucks, right? It's unorthodox way to go about catching somebody, but I'm not surprised. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. And guys, we got two different signs. We got one for, Israel's not our greatest ally, changed my mind, or deport all the immigrants. Are we taking that down? Don't take it down. Can you put both up? No, put both up. Or somebody hold the other sign. Yeah, let's have both. Find a way. Who's up next? Or maybe put on the table. I don't know. Yo. Watching Nick? Nice. Okay. Okay, you can't change it on. You got to go back in the studio to do it, right? All right, that's fine. All right, who's up next? Again, guys, send them all back. Okay, or for immigration, or Israel is not our greatest ally. Either topic we can discuss, or we can talk about how women suck at everything. Okay, SS Heights. What's up, fellas? Shout out to you, Heitzman. Oh, you want me to read chats? Yeah, I can read some chats until someone comes up. Capone says, next week, sign, who would you rather kick out the country? Illegal Mexicans or illegal Zionists? Legal Zionists. Yeah, it's bad. Mexicans pick fruit. Israelis pick war. All right. If you're waving a Mexico flag, you belong to Mexico. You guys are funny in the chat, man. Also, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on my channel, Myron Gaines X, or on Fresh and Fit, smash that like button, guys. We're out here in the streets of Miami, having a good discussion. All right. We're live on Kick and Rumble as well. as you guys, and Council Club. So shout out to all you guys. Again, the topic is send them all back, or Israel is not our greatest ally. One of the two. One of the two. Either one. Yeah. Oh, he's doing that? Okay.
So on the second subject. Yeah, got you.
There might be marker 7-Eleven.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Stop. Sit. Stay.
Maybe pull this side up. It's all good. I can lean over. I can lean over if I need to. That's good. That's perfect. I can hold it too if I need to. This is fine. Thank you. So on the second subject we were talking about, why do you think we have the sentiment of our greatest ally? Do you think it has to do with like blackmail historically, or do you think it's more something to do with like the Samson option, where people like Americans are genuinely just scared that something really bad's going to happen if we decide to just put our hands up and step back from all the conflict?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. It's them paying our politicians, controlling our politicians, blackmail, influence in positions of power in our government, in our media, in tech. So it's a whole bunch of different reasons why we label them our greatest ally, even though they really don't provide any strategic benefit to the United States whatsoever.
But in the end, it would maybe not be great for the entire world if we decided that if we went out and said publicly that they were not our greatest ally, because then this Samson option thing might actually go into effect. That would be even worse, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, they did this back in the 70s, right? They pretty much, not blackmailed, but well, no, you could say that nuclear blackmailed and pushed around Nixon in the Yom Kippur War. And, Golda Meir basically threatened, hey, if you don't help us, we are going to nuke the Arab world.
Yeah.
And we ended up giving them a big-ass airlift, and they ended up winning the conflict. So they've been, yeah.
So what is the solution then? What do you think
solution?
the solution is then if they always have that ability, or maybe they always have in the back of their mind, hey, if we're backed into a corner, we might just do this. What's a good solution then? Like what's the
I
solution?
think step one is we need to make AIPAC and all the other Zionist lobbies register under FARA, so they disclose where their money's coming from, create more transparency with the American public of where this money's coming from when it comes from Israeli donors. Oh, look, we got an angry Zionist in the back. She came back, guys.
I've
She
seen
came
it
back.
before. It's all good.
She came back. She's so
It's all
pissed.
good.
See, and this is why no one likes Israel.
But she's
'cause they
showing
behave
emotion.
like that.
She's technically emotional towards you.
I think God promised her this microphone 2,000 years ago, clearly. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, well, what was I saying? So I think it'll start with making AIPAC register under FARA, and kind of letting them slowly easing off the aid and letting them fight their own wars.
Have any presidents in the past tried to do this?
No. Kennedy, and we know what happened to him.
Oh, shoot. Oh,
Kennedy
that's
was
crazy.
the last president to stand up to Israel, and they
That's
fucking blew his
crazy.
head open.
Did he try to like denuclearize them too, or?
He absolutely did.
Whoa.
He absolutely did. Someone's
That's crazy.
awake.
I had no idea.
Yeah, someone's
That's
awake.
crazy. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate it though. Thank you.
All right, later, man. Good questions. A lot of people don't know that, man. A lot of people don't know that he was trying to stop nuclear proliferation, but Israel did it anyway. Another day, man, then when you can talk on a mic. I know for religious reasons, I know it's what is that? Sabbath, fair enough. Another day then. Go ahead.
Yo, what's good, Myron? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Yo, so I just had a question. When it comes to like JFK and all that, I saw you going over the
You
documents.
just got to speak a little bit louder so everyone can hear you.
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Sorry,
I
it's
got you.
like these cars and go ahead.
It's Miami. Everyone's loud as fuck. All right. But about JFK, I saw you going over the documents and whatnot. They haven't released like anything else about that, have they?
JFK?
Yeah, about all that, right?
Well, I think the stuff that, we've been talking about for a long time finally came out, showing that what they've been redacting all these years was the fact that Israeli intelligence was involved in the assassination.
Wait, so I know it was part of the the denuclear program that Kennedy was trying to run?
Yes.
Wait, so but I always thought it was kind of in part with the CIA too, right? Because it was kind of them both, wasn't it?
Yeah, so you know, I think it's important to note, right, that there were multiple entities that wanted John F. Kennedy gone. The three main entities were the CIA, organized crime, the mafia, as well as the Italian mafia and the Jewish mafia, as well as the Israeli intelligence services. Those are the three components that wanted him gone. So, and all of them had a role in the assassination. But the thing that's important is that in American media, we've conveniently left out the Israeli angle for a very long time.
I literally never heard about it until
Yeah.
I saw it on your show. That
Yeah.
was the first. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, really? I thought it was just the CIA the whole time, as
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah,
which is the norm.
and I'll tell you why. That's manufactured. The most famous movie when it comes to JFK is the 1991 Oliver Stone film.
Yeah.
And in that film, it focuses a lot on organized crime and the CIA, but it leaves out the Israeli angle. Well, you do a little bit of research. Who funded the JFK film? A guy named Arnon Milchan. Arnon Milchan is a Zionist billionaire Jew that funded that movie, and he was a spy. He admitted this on Israeli television. And not only was he a spy, it gets better. He was a spy for their unacknowledged nuclear program.
Oh.
So he funded the movie of the president that was assassinated that tried to stop Israel procuring nuclear weapons. So of course that angle would be removed from the movie. And when people really find this out, connect the dots, they're like, holy crap.
That is kind of wild. It's all just some fucking crazy loop.
And this
even
is
goes
all
through
factual. You
Hollywood.
can look it up. 1991, JFK, Oliver Stone, who funded it? Arnon Milchan. He said on Israeli TV, I was a spy for their nuclear program to make sure it stayed unacknowledged. And he was in Hollywood filming all these movies. And the one movie that covered the president that tried to stop nuclear proliferation, conveniently Israeli angle left out.
Every time.
What was that? Oliver Silver, I think it was, or Silverstein.
Well, now it all just makes sense. Thank
Yeah.
you, brother.
All right, man. He can't use it because it's Friday. Yeah, but they can't hear you, bro. So.
Oh, hello, Mr. Fresh and Fit. Sorry, am I too slow? So, okay, sorry.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm a bit of an outsider here, so just for context, I'm Persian. I grew up in the UK. I've moved to Miami, so I've been.
Welcome.
I haven't heard of you before.
Okay.
My first.
That's good.
No, look. So my first question is, I can tell this is a little bit controversial. So, in the current climate, would you be comfortable on the street having this debate in New York or LA?
Well, I've done street debates before. I'd have no problem doing it in New York or LA. No problem.
Okay, because I just feel like personally, I've moved down to Florida from London. I feel like over here, people are a bit more relaxed about things. It's not extreme. However, what's your view on? I've heard tomorrow there's going to be a bit of a gathering in downtown.
For what? For the immigration? Or
I don't know what it's about. Actually, I don't know. I've heard it's protests in LA, but I've heard tomorrow something in downtown. Do you think downtown Miami tomorrow is going to be like LA right now, or what's your opinion on that?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. We're not.
predict?
Miami is kind of a bit more conservative than LA is. LA is very blue. A lot of weird wokies over there. But I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a demonstration in Miami. We have a big immigrant population here.
Do you think there are wokies in this crowd right now, and that's why the police are here?
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's a lot of people that probably strongly disagree with some of my views here. You know, I've said that I don't think gays should be able to adopt children. I said Israel's not our greatest ally. I think we need to go hard on deportations and have strong borders. I'm sure a lot of people here disagree with some of my worldviews. And that's fine.
So I was talking to some people about the whole situation with LA and deportations and stuff, and again, I'm neutral, so I don't really have any views either way.
Yeah.
So how I see the situation in America is like I'm in the U.S. on a high skill visa. Okay, so I get
on a what visa?
A high skill visa. I'm here on a
like an O.
L1,
Okay.
EB1. I'm gonna migrate. So
yeah,
I have the high skill, but do you feel that the U.S. doesn't really have a route for low skill labor to come here legally, or do you think they do? That's my question.
So your question is, do we have room for low-skilled labor?
No. Do we have do you think the U.S. current immigration system provides a appropriate legal avenue for low-skilled labor to come and work in this country?
Well, I mean, we do have visas in place for people that want to be migrant workers, farmers, etc. And we do have other visas where people can come here and get a trade and, you know, go to school or whatever. The thing is, I think we need to start limiting that, though. I think we need to prioritize U.S. citizens getting jobs over trying to import foreign labor to cut costs for big companies. This is why I'm very anti H-1B visa, right? The H-1B visa is nothing more.
I'm not on a H-1B, by the way. I'm on.
No, I know you're not.
Yeah.
But that's an example of what I mean, where it's like these visas are kind of to game the system and give jobs to people from third world countries and allow them to work for a fraction of the cost and lock them into your company. A lot of tech companies, you know, abuse this visa. So I'm against, you know, prioritizing foreigners getting jobs over American citizens.
Okay, so you think there is room from like reform in the visa process and system?
Yeah, it needs, the entire immigration system needs to be reevaluated. We're getting beat on all ends. And, you know, my thing is, you know, for those that are wondering, I'm like a hardcore American nationalist.
Okay.
So I dislike our foreign intervention in the Middle East. I think we need to stop supporting Israel. I think we need to stop supporting Ukraine. I think we need to focus on the United States. And when I say America first, I truly do mean that. And that means, you know, prioritizing American citizens, even if that means that companies have to pay a bit more money, bringing trade back over here and businesses here and infrastructure here. And quite frankly, you know, people like Elon Musk and et cetera, these billionaires, you know, a lot of them are globalists. They're not nationalists, right? They're for H-1B visas. They're for cheaper labor. They're for trying to increase profit margins. My thing is I think we need to focus on the United States and the American citizens. And quite frankly, that's where we need to prioritize.
So do you agree or disagree with, so there's one agenda that Trump's been pushing, which is for NATO nations to increase like spending on national security as a percentage of GDP to 2%.
We need to leave NATO. NATO's a big waste of money.
So you think the US should decrease its military spending in terms of the size and relative GDP? Because right now it's quite high, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think NATO is a big scam. I think we should pull out. Let the Europeans defend themselves, and you know, we focus on taking care of America, right? We're too involved in, you know, other affairs.
Okay,
you know?
so on the matter of other affairs, what's your position on 51st state of Canada and maybe even going further and 52nd state
Canada's
of the
a
UK?
failed nation. They're a failed nation. They're cooked. You know, they're a socialist country. Their major cities are being overrun by immigrants. Crime is rampant. Their dollar's worth nothing. You know, honestly, like Canada is they're cooked, and that's where we're gonna head if we don't fix our situation.
So you think we should be? I mean, the American. I'm not American right now.
And no offense, the UK is cooked too.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
UK is cooked.
I'm so happy to be in Florida right now. I mean, like, I came from London. I came to Florida. I can see it myself. Like, a lot of my friends in Europe, they have different views on the US. They think this place is full of crime. They think this place is no healthcare, like nothing. So, I mean, what do you want to say to people in Europe who are scared of America or they think it's not a good place?
Well, you know, we're the best country in the world. I mean, if you want to work hard, you can absolutely make money here. It's a capitalist society. We're the strongest nation. Yes, we do have a lot of crime, but here you can at least get a gun and defend yourself versus being on the streets of London and getting stabbed by some Moroccan. So, you know, the reality is, a lot of these people want to come to the United States because there's far more opportunity here. Even the first world countries, the Five Eyes, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, England, like we have far more opportunities than all these other countries. So, you know, that's my take on it. But is there anyone else? Because I know.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
No problem, man.
Can I take it off?
Yeah, you can take it off. Pause. Yeah, just
No worries. What's going on, Myron? I just want to shout out the whole team, bro. W Mo, W Bills. Chris is a bum. W Fresh.
Hey, he's a real G, man. What's up, bro?
100%, bro. Shout out Rumble, bro. Shout out Castle Club. So basically, bro, most people don't know, but like the whole idea of like, bro, like Israel being our greatest ally and Jewish supremacy, bro, is basically like people always ask like, why are Jewish people like so present in like politics, media, and like business and banks, etc., bro? It's because like people who have no ethics or morals and you think that like they're superior to basically everybody on the planet, bro. Like they can basically do whatever they want, bro. Like they can ascend, they can become whatever, bro, with like no regard for like human decency or anything like that. As you can see, like in what's happening in Gaza right now. By the way, Israel, free Gaza. And for all the women upset, don't forget to buy his Amazon bestseller, Why Women Deserve Less, because they actually do. So go ahead and check it out. But yeah, bro, I just wanted to say that Israel, bro. Obviously, I'm Muslim, bro. Like W Gaza. Can I say free Palestine?
Yeah, sure.
Bro, free Palestine, bro. Y'all already know, bro. For the immigration, bro, obviously all the illegal aliens, bro, send them back, get them out of here, bro. I know I'm repping a foreign country flag on my hat, bro, but I am an American, bro, and like everybody knows, like in Cameroon, bro, we don't really want illegal immigrants who come in damage our country, bro. I understand Americans who don't want illegal immigrants as well, who come in damage their country, bro. Even though there's a certain group of people who do more damage, obviously for obvious reasons, bro. But that's all I want to throw out there, bro. Bro, you mind if I get a pic?
Yeah,
Thank you,
man.
bro.
Yeah. Bro's a comedian, man. You got your camera? Oh shit! Oh yeah. He's fucking hilarious, bro. He's like hilarious, man. All right, who's up next, bro? Yeah, well, you can't talk on the mic, man. So it's like it kind of defeats the purpose because we're live. We're live on the, but they won't be able to pick you up, bro. You know what I mean? It'll hurt the quality of the show. So yeah, who's up? Who's up next? Again, guys, the topic is ICE is right. Mass deportations are good. So obviously I support Trump in the move with the mass deportations. And then also Israel's not our greatest ally. No. Oh, that's the chat. Oh, he asked, which country will jump in to assist the United States? Okay, it says here, which country will jump in if America decides to help Israel?
Yo.
There's it's complex situation. What's up, man? What's up, bro?
What's up, man? Two questions, real quick. First of all, from a monetary side, is that the most efficient way? Like, you probably heard this talking point, you probably have these thoughts already. So what are your thoughts on, like, it's so expensive to do that versus try to find other ways to accomplish the same goal?
What in particular are you asking about?
So the number that's cited a lot costs 17 grand to deport somebody. And Trump was offering $1 grand for them to leave, right? So why not just offer more and more to try to get them out instead of like just trying to like fucking go crazy deporting everybody? Like try to come up with better strategies. Why always like we gotta like use violence?
I mean, you know,
a first option.
I think so you're for deportations, it seems.
I'm not taking a stance on that. I'm just saying,
Okay.
yeah. Am I for deportations? It depends, obviously. Like,
yeah, because you're talking about how to make it more efficient, which leads me to believe you're for it.
Deport. That's not really deportation, though, right? That's like deportation is by force, right? That's like voluntary.
Well,
exit.
they could self deport too.
Okay, yeah, I'm pro self deportation. I think everybody would be, right?
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, like, yes, it is expensive to deport people. It can be, and this is why we need to prioritize first, obviously, criminal aliens. And then from there, use a trickle-down effect and go after the people that pose, security threats or people that are gaming the system or people that might have criminal convictions, even if they might not necessarily be felons, and have stronger borders. And then we also need to go after the people that are abusing the visa system as well. I think it's kind of crazy how we're spending all this time and resources going after college students that are being critical of Israel, that are legally here, by the way, instead of going after people that are actually illegally here. So I think we really need to, focus our resources when it comes to deporting people, because they are limited, as you just said, on going after people that are actually illegally here and or committing crimes.
And my second question, would you not think it's more effective to just the people who are already here, like, okay, let's try to use some kind of system to make them as productive as possible, keep the best people, and then just close off the border as much as possible? Would that not be a better strategy than trying to freaking force people out?
Well, that's going to incentivize people to come in. You see,
but close the border more, right?
Yeah,
or
but
that's impossible.
but they're gonna try to come in when you do that, because now you're incentivizing them to break the law by doing that, right? And I see your perspective, but that could lead to a slippery slope where people are like, oh, well, if we just get in, we're straight, like we're good. So I think we need to be cognizant of the fact that we can't reward people for breaking the immigration laws. I think we should be focusing on that's why I say we need to have an immigration moratorium for 1 to 5 years where we don't let anybody in until we refine our system, because our system is constantly getting gamed.
Thank you.
No problem. Again, topic is W for mass deportations, and Israel is not our greatest ally. So if anyone wants to come in and step up and say something, cool, no problem. If you agree, disagree, give your comments, whatever it may be. So... Oh yeah, don't forget to we're live on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, all the platforms. So Make sure to like and subscribe. Running a CC Castle Club promo, 50% off. CC17 Ninjas with capital C's, of course. So, or we could talk about feminism, any of them. Right there. Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry for my rough accent, but I want to know why do you think that Israel is not our great ally?
I'm sorry?
Why do you think that about Israel? I am just curious.
Oh, why do I think Israel's not our greatest ally? Because we get no benefit for supporting them.
But those guys are putting their body actually there because of us. Because their neighbors don't like them as they don't like us.
Yeah, so
they don't like us. I mean, they don't like women asking questions to you. They don't like people partying, having fun, drinking, as we are doing right now. So if their choice is attack Israel and attack everybody that doing nothing that what they believe in their religious laws that we should do. So
okay, so number one, patriarchies are not exclusive to the Muslim world. Many different societies don't think women should be speaking up, whether it's Christianity, Islam, whatever. A lot of people think women should be in the kitchen. That's number one. So it's not just exclusive to the Muslim world. Number two, when it comes to Israel standing in the way and sacrificing their bodies for us, the reality is we would not have any problems in the Middle East if it was not for Israel. Israel has created the conflicts in the Middle East where the Arab world dislikes us. You really think that the Arab world cares about us and our freedoms? No, that's Western propaganda to justify wars. This is exactly what George Bush said in 2003.
This morning, Israel time, 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
They shut down nuclear things that they shoot down nuclear whatever, like a storage that Iranians don't think about it to shoot against United States. So I don't know why you are talking in the middle of United States brickle if you are not agree with Israel, because they are putting their bodies, the young people, beautiful people as you know, to defend United States as well. So
okay, number one, the Middle East wouldn't have problems with us if it was not for Israel, number one. The reason why the Muslim world and a lot of these countries have had issues with the United States isn't because of the United States. It's because of our support of Israel and what they're doing in the Middle East, okay? If you look at any of the terrorist manifestos or whatever when they write their things, so let me just finish. Hold on.
How old are you? Just want to curious. How old are you? Just
please let me finish and address your situation.
How old are you?
That's irrelevant.
No, it's relevant. How old are you?
Can I please answer the question? So, because you made the claim, so I'm just kind of answering what you're saying here. So again, it's not because we're America, it's because we support Israel that they have the problems with us, okay? Again, this is what they tried in 2003 with Bush, saying they hate us because of our freedoms. No, they dislike us because of our support of Israel as they launch a campaign all across the Middle East to make sure that they have hegemony there, destabilizing a bunch of Muslim countries. Now, the nuclear stuff that you were talking about, Iran has a nuclear threshold, is a nuclear threshold country, which means they have nuclear facilities for civilian energy, okay? Many countries have this and it's legal according to international laws. Many countries operate this way. So Israel has attacked a couple of their nuclear facilities. But here's the thing. I find it ironic that Israel tells Iran that they can't have nuclear weapons when Israel illegally has nuclear weapons. And they stole the material from us.
If you ask ChatGPT now that Israel have nuclear weapons, they don't. They don't.
They don't?
But you know what? Like they hate us. They hate like the life that we are having right now. Your Microsoft, your cameras. I think that I was in New York on September 11. I was maybe younger than you, but I was there and seeing as whatever with my Czech accent, like as a Latin American woman, you know, seeing how like a Middle East was hitting against United States, that was very bad. So what I believe is that like everybody that is not on the religious Islam fundamentals law is against them and they are on war of us. So if you are talking here using all whatever technology, United States, whatever protection, I think that you shouldn't talk against Israel. It's
All
what
right.
I am no Jews, I am American, but I am no, defending no point, just saying that I think that if you like the way
All
that
right.
you live,
Okay,
you
hold
shouldn't
on.
talk
Hold on.
bad about
Let me address
Israel.
your first thing. You're 100% wrong. Israel does have nuclear weapons. This was proven by a guy named Mordecai Vanunu. He went to jail for this, okay? He exposed that they have a nuclear program. He took 50-plus pictures showing that they have a nuclear program. Mossad kidnapped them in Italy and took them back to Israel. They absolutely have a nuclear program. It's just that it's unacknowledged, because if they did acknowledge they had a nuclear program, they would no longer be able to get aid from the United States. So we have a law in place for that. So they absolutely do have nuclear weapons, and we know this for a fact. Number two, when it comes to 9/11, I find it interesting that people talk about 9/11 and say, oh, it was Al-Qaeda that attacked, which they did. But I will tell you this, there's a very strong Israeli angle with 9/11 as well. So the Israelis were involved in 9/11 too. And there's a bunch of evidence that shows this. Because guess what? Who that benefits? The Patriot Act, wars in the Middle East. Who does that benefit? Doesn't benefit us. It benefits them. So anyway, yeah, I don't think. Yeah, who's up next? Yeah, this is why women should be in the kitchen. Huh? Incredible.
You guys hear me? Yo.
What does this guy say? He's white knighting, I guess.
So you're aware of
White
Rabbi?
knighting.
You're aware of Rabbi owns Pornhub, right?
What was that?
You're aware of Rabbi owns Pornhub, right?
Yeah, I know.
So how are they not our greatest ally if they're our greatest supplier of porn?
Yes, that's a good.
Yes.
Yes, they run the porn industry. They do. They do. Needles dropping the bombs and just walking away. Who's up next? We can talk about Israel, immigration, feminism. Holy. You know, this is why they always say women are to be seen and not be heard. That was painful. Holy shit. That was painful. All right. Who's up next? If anybody has a disagreement, feel free. Come in. But yeah, guys, I mean, it's funny. It's funny. What? What's crossed out? I didn't write it. I don't know. What? Oh, okay. One chest says, do you think the current surge in illegal Mexican immigration is more a result of U.S. political incentives and policy leniency, or failures within Mexico's own government and economy, and which one should be holding more accountable? It's failures with the Mexican government. They've been corrupt for decades, and they haven't created opportunity for their people, so they have to come to the United States because they don't have another choice. So, yeah, Mexico is Mexico's created a lot of their own problems. Anyone else have a agreement, disagreement, point to make, etc.? The topics are Israel's not our greatest ally, and the other one is deport them all that are here illegally. I'm for the ICE raids, and the people that are rioting are stupid and low IQ in New York City and LA. We're a nation of laws. So, yeah. It's interesting. People heckle stuff behind the scenes, but when you give them the chance to get on the mic, they're just like, yeah, oh, they're not allowed to use technology. They used technology 2 weeks ago, no problem. They were using technology 2 weeks ago when like 15 of them were in here. They had no problem using a mic before. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your opinion? Let me ask you this about this, because it was not just against Israel, they also posted a threat against the U.S. Do you agree with that or no?
Sure. Let me repeat your question so the audience can hear what you just said. Basically, guys, he said, what do I think about the attacks that's going on right now between Israel and Iran, and Iran posing a threat to the United States with their weapons, right? So I have that right? Okay. Number one, Iran doesn't really pose a threat to us militarily at all. We're superior to them in every single way, and geographically, we're so far away from them that it would be very difficult for them to actually launch a real attack on us. But they are a threat for Israel. And I think when it comes to, and I said this before already, I just find it very hypocritical that Israel is against Iran having a civilian nuclear program when Israel has an illegal weapons nuclear program that they, still to this day will not acknowledge, but we know that they have. And this has been exposed by journalists all over the place that they have a nuclear program. And Israel even knows that they have a nuclear program. So it's just very interesting to me how they have an illegal program and are trying to stop Iran from having a legal program that's civilian, that's allowed by international law. Because there's many countries that are threshold states, just like Iran, Japan, Brazil, a couple other countries that have the capability of making a nuclear weapon, but they don't necessarily have a nuclear program weapons grade yet. So, and I would argue, we saw what happened when people gave up their nuclear weapons. Gaddafi tried, and Libya fell 10 years later. So, you know, I think if Israel has the right to defend itself, I think Iran also has the right to defend itself because they're a sovereign nation as well. Why is it that we prioritize Israel's ability to protect itself, but not Iran's? Yep. Why should you, as a semi-Orthodox Jew, root against Israel? Yeah. All right, so his question is, why should I, as an Orthodox Jew, not support Israel? And then what should you do? My solution is, so here's the thing. I actually have no problem with Israelis that want to be nationalists and protect their country. I actually have no problem with that. If you guys want to go ahead and do what you guys do and be pro-Israel and, you know, hardcore Zionism, I actually don't have an issue with that. You know, I'm a proponent of people being nationalistic to their country. My only issue is I don't think the United States should be supporting that. So I think we need to end all aid to Israel because I think at this point, the military campaign that you guys have waged has put us in a very bad diplomacy position for future deals. Yes. That's a good question. So he asked what Israel's response should have been to October 7th. That's actually a really good question. I'll go ahead and I'll go through it. So we know that Israel has the capability to do precise strikes. They showed this yesterday when they assassinated a bunch of generals in Iran. I've always given a lot of credit to Israel's intelligence program. Shin Bet, Unit 8200, Mossad, Oman, really good. They did the Patriot attack in Lebanon. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I'm so critical of Israel is because I know what they're capable of. Their intelligence agency is right there with NSA and CIA. So when I see them bomb kids in Gaza and I see them do all these operations where they're killing, you know, tens of thousands of innocent people, I can't accept that from them because I know that they have the ability to do precise strikes. So though I do think that the loss of life, whether Israeli or Palestinian, is horrible, and I think the attacks on October 7th were terrible because innocent lives should never be lost, I do think that Israel could have retaliated in a way where they could have surgically and precisely killed the leaders of Hamas and destabilized it through there. I mean, they did it to Ismail Haniyeh in Iran last year. They assassinated him in Tehran. They blew up his hotel room. So, yes, it would take longer. Yes, it would be more difficult, but they have the capability of doing it, and they could have done it while preserving their international image. So I'm not saying that Israel shouldn't have retaliated. I'm saying the way they retaliated with all the dead civilians was not the way to go. My solution as far as like with what's going on right now? Sure. So his question, guys, is what is the best path forward? So I've always been a big proponent of the two-state solution, you know, and I know a lot of Israelis actually are. But the problem with that, though, is that we have Netanyahu in power, and let's be honest, he does not want a two-state solution at all. Yeah, and I know a lot of Israelis don't like Netanyahu. I understand. Yes. Yeah, like I'm totally for peace with between the two, but I think a two-state solution, though I think it is the best solution, I don't know if it's viable now anymore. Well, I mean, as it stands, where it's destroyed, it's leveled. Like 80% of the infrastructure is gone. Yeah. No, yeah. So you don't know, but like, yeah, like 80% of the infrastructure is gone. It's almost uninhabitable at this point. Israelis are not going to like me saying this, but I think we need a one-state solution where Palestinians and Israelis have citizenship, and Hold on. There is, but only 2 million, and it has to stay a majority Jewish state. That's a problem. So they need to bring them all in and make them equal citizens. Now, I know that this is a problem, though, because Israel needs to maintain position as a Jewish state, which means they need to have a majority. So that's the issue that we come into with this. So, you know, 2 states sounds great, but with Netanyahu in power, I think it's impossible. Oh. Yeah. I think right now, at this point.
Hey, we can't hear you, dude. We can't hear your questions, man. If you want to come, just ask them come right here. We don't even know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
Well, how about this? Let's get someone else on the mic, and then we can figure this out after. Who else wanted to go? I know that we have some people here that are religious and they can't use the microphone. That's fine. I understand. If they can't use the mic, that's fine. But if there's anybody else, again, the topic is Israel's not our greatest ally, and send them all back. I'm for mass deportations. So anyone can come in. I know some of the Israelis that are here are, observing the Sabbath, I think, so they can't get on the mic.
I gotta remember real quick. Hold on. Right. So, assuming something tragic happened tomorrow, because Trump is doing his big military parade and everything. So let's say, for example, Trump was assassinated tomorrow, something like that, and we found out that it was Iran that did it. Would we then be justified in going in there and invading and completely, destroying it? If something like that were to happen.
Yeah, we would absolutely go in there if that happened. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think the Iranians would really. It doesn't.
It might look like
there's no benefit to attacking the United States or doing that. I think honestly it would probably be a false flag if it did happen.
Yeah.
Because they got their hands full with Israel right now. So to attack a sitting U.S. president would be a death sentence.
Yeah.
So I think in their eyes, they're looking at it like, we just want to end this conflict right now, get the Israelis off us, and trying to do something with the U.S. president would be.
It seems like at this point there's really not much hope left for Iran, right? They have retaliated now. I don't think there's much they can do at this point. So it might be like a last Hail Mary attempt or something. I hope not.
I think the only thing they can do at this point is get Israel to stop, and they would have to do that by retaliating so hard that Israel would no longer be able to take on the casualties. So this happened when they invaded Lebanon earlier last year. They went in. They said they were going to get to Beirut. They couldn't even make it to the Litani River. Hezbollah held them, and they ended up having a mutual ceasefire. Typically, the Israelis don't have a ceasefire if they're winning.
Right.
The only reason why they did that is because they couldn't sustain the casualties, because the IDF is not as good on the ground. So they ended up having that ceasefire, but that ceasefire allowed for Syria to be taken over. So that is another reason why they brokered it, because it weakened Assad and allowed the rebel groups to take over.
Gotcha. Thank you.
No problem, man. Yeah, it's always a good time here in Miami. Anyone else?
All right, D-Pain's little brother, T-Pain's little brother, D-Pain's back on. I just wanted to kind of talk about Netanyahu.
Sure.
And,
sure.
Do you think that if he continues with this, I don't know, with his actions, do you think that he'll get off with this court trial?
With his criminal case?
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, because a lot of people don't know that before October 7th happened, he was in the middle of a corruption trial.
Yep.
I don't even know. I think at this point, Israel's just so focused on war that, they're just suspend all this crap. And it works to his advantage, right? Basically, he was able to consolidate power, within himself. He was able to avoid judicial persecution. And he's been able to wage a war against all of his enemies that he's wanted to wage against for a long time. So, a lot of people theorize that October 7th he allowed it to happen.
Wow. They had cross-examinations on the 3rd, right? And I guess they had cross-examinations on him. He was on the stand, and they had cross-examinations.
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with his. I'm not familiar with the trial. I'm not familiar with the trial and, if he took the stand or anything like that. I know that he was in the middle of judicial proceedings.
Right.
But, I mean, if he took the stand, I'm assuming their law system is kind of like ours, and taking a stand is probably against your best interest. So, and Netanyahu's not a stupid guy. He graduated from MIT. So, I don't know if he was on the stand. But, yeah, I mean, this is why a lot of people theorize that he allowed October 7th to happen because of all the benefits that have kind of come, for him after. Obviously, it was terrible, all the people that have died, but a lot of people theorize that he allowed it to happen.
And what do you think that he might gain other than the trial? Do you think that if he wasn't on trial for this situation, that he would have went through this whole war situation?
Yeah, I think he would have been convicted. Yeah, I think if October 7th didn't happen and he wasn't able to consolidate power in wartime, I think he would have been convicted. Yeah.
Now, do you think that they're having some, I don't know, Israel's situation or their state of being and whatnot, but like, do you think that they might have someone in power just in case if he leaves or goes to jail, or somebody else that might take his spot?
Yeah, of course he's gonna have a backup that would assume power for sure. There's and the thing that's crazy is that Netanyahu is probably the most reasonable person from the Likud party. They're even more far right than he is. Yeah. So yeah. Who else had something? Did you have something you want to say? This guy right here with the slides. I know you said something before. Did you want to get on the mic and? I was trying to.
Where are you from? What's your background?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in Connecticut.
What part?
New Britain.
Okay, and where's your family from?
They're from Sudan.
Okay.
That's it? I'm sorry? Okay.
Hey, Myron, big fan.
Yo,
Really
what's up, man?
appreciate all the, the fact that you're so brave to go ahead and put yourself out there and try to speak the truth of what's actually going on. I find it baffling how so many evangelicals in this country, they're so quick to criticize Catholicism and yet will do everything they can to bend over backwards for a group of people in a religion that literally don't think that Christ is the savior. So whenever these kind of things happen, there's a part of me that's frustrated, and there's also another part of me that thinks that we'll get closer and closer to the point where eventually America will realize what the actual truth is of this country and who runs this country. So what do you think is going to take for evangelicals, Protestants specifically, to realize the truth and to wake up to the realities of what's actually happened since World War II?
Man, that's a tough question. I mean, you're going to need someone to kind of rise up that has more influence to kind of turn the narrative, right? I would argue one of the most famous evangelical Christians, right? Like Charlie Kirk or whatever, they push this mantra. And they have an enormous audience. So, until a counter narrative comes out to that, maybe someone like a Nick Fuentes or whatever, shout out to him, we're going to, it's going to be very difficult, but this is why certain viewpoints have been suppressed for so long and other viewpoints have been allowed to kind of push through. But we are seeing a change in the narrative, right? We certain people like Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, a lot of these guys are starting to lose influence now, and other people that have been suppressed for a very long time are finally being able to get some limelight. So, since censorship has receded, now we're able to actually have a battle of ideas. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, bro. It seems like despite things don't seem to go our way, I think it pushes us closer and closer and closer to most people finding out the truth. So
yeah.
Appreciate you for being the beacon of light and truth and what's going on today.
Thank you so much, brother. Take it easy. Thank you. Hi.
I would like to get to know your opinion of what you think the end result of all of this will be.
Okay. In what regards?
To everything that's happening at the moment.
Are we talking in the Middle East, or are we talking to immigration in the United
Middle
States?
East.
Well, since the 90s, Israel has systematically worked really hard to destabilize every Middle Eastern country that was mentioned in the Clean Break memo, and Iran is the last one left. So, I think the next 48 hours is going to dictate kind of the future of the Middle East.
So do you think this is a positive or a negative?
I'm sorry?
Do you think this is a positive or a negative?
In what regard? When we're talking about American interests, Israeli interests, Iranian interests? Because what positive to one can be negative to another. So what specifically?
I mean, your opinion. I'm just looking for your opinion.
Yeah, I think Israel controlling the Middle East is not a good thing. I think and that's what they want. They want to have hegemony in the region, right? They want to become a nuclear superpower in the region where they, have their, they're able to exalt their power. I don't think that that's good, because obviously conflicts are always going to arise, right? Since we've had problems with Israel since 1948 because of what's going on in Palestine, they're always going to resist. So until we figure out some kind of solution, there's always going to be conflict.
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else? Immigration, Israel, feminism. Why women deserve less? I don't know. Whatever you guys want to discuss.
Myron.
Yo.
So I heard that you said you need to sleep with 50 women before you can get married. That's right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I get like head, is that like half a point?
If you get what?
If I get just head, that's like half a point or a full point?
Yeah, that's half.
It's half?
That's
All
half.
right, that's all.
All right, man. Man. I'll give you a 0.75 for the charisma. 0.75, bro. Almost one body. Anyone else have a take? Damn, why is everybody so scared? God damn. We can talk feminism, Israel, whatever. Okay, we got some.
What's going on, guys? My name's Sambo. I'm an MC. That's what I do. I'm an abstract poet.
Okay.
I came up here with no plan or intention but to be, I guess, here on the microphone. And I guess the question is, like, what do we do to galvanize our people, the people of this country that has so much diversity from so many years of immigration? And if we were to open up that history book and to actually look at it and to embrace the decisions that, at least what I come from, my ancestors, the decisions that they made, how do we wake up to that reality and face that reality once and for all, so we can come together and understand that we are different, that there are different subcultures and subunits within this country, and how do we respect those differences for once to actually build something that is outside of the traditional hierarchy of central government and corporate fucking control. I don't know how anybody answers this, but I always ask myself it every day when I wake up.
Well, I think we need to deal with the elephant in the room, and the ugly reality is multiculturalism simply doesn't work a lot of the times. Creates an enormous amount of conflict. So I think America has a certain identity. Now, this is controversial, but I think America needs to stay a majority white country. It was founded by white men. I think it needs to stay a majority that way to preserve the culture and the way the country was founded. Because we've seen multiculturalism in other first world countries, and look at where they are now. They're pretty much on fire or having a bunch of different issues. So, and this is an unpopular take, but yeah, multiculturalism, when it's too much or a majority, creates indefinite conflict.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure. Yeah.
Has there been a society in all of human history that has been able to create a multicultural system that actually represents, its different constituents?
Do it effectively? I don't know. The closest I would say that does it effectively, you could look at the United Arab Emirates. They have a huge immigration population in Dubai, something like 80-90%, but they effectively run an apartheid. If you commit a crime in the UAE, you're going to go to jail 10 times as much as a civilian. So unless we ran some type of apartheid to, disincentivize criminality, it'd be very difficult to do it any other way that I could think of. But most of the time when we've seen multiculturalism, it does boil into a lot of problems, But then you could look at like a country like Japan, where it's super homogenous, but crime is almost non-existent. So the only country I've seen where mass immigration is a thing and it works is the UAE, but that's an apartheid.
Thank you. This last thing is more of a cliffhanger or a rhetorical question, which is, how much of this has been conditioned into us to believe that we can't build a multicultural world, or I guess like I don't know if it's anti-government. I'm an anarchist by nature, so it's hard for me to
It's simply not feasible because of human nature. Because different cultures have opposing views. Those opposing views are the root cause of conflict. So, it's just very difficult to do. Now, I'm not sitting here saying we need to be separatists, but what I am saying is that to ensure certain things being in place in certain order, you do need to maintain a majority of the founding people.
Beautiful. Well, I don't want to take too much time on the mic. Anybody else want to come up?
No problem.
question.
Let him go first, and then you can go after. Go ahead. Yeah, go. You want her to go?
Yeah, 100%. Gentlemen.
All right. He forfeited. You can go ahead. The gentleman is allowing you to go ahead of him.
Quick question. So deport all immigrants means deport all immigrants or deport all illegal immigrants?
Illegal. They missed this word there. I got to get with my staff.
Okay.
But it's women that wrote it, so women fuck everything up. To be honest.
That's not nice of you to say.
Hey, I mean, just being honest. Women suck at everything, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. That was all for me. Thank
No
you.
problem. Men are better than women at almost everything. Let's be honest here.
All right, I got a
So, what's up?
question. All right. It's somewhat related to this. Closer to the mic. Good. All right. Who wins in a fight, the Tates or a gorilla? I need an honest answer, so keep thinking about it.
The Tates.
100%. But
Yeah.
why? Is it Tristan or Andrew who's really pulling the over 50%?
They would use
here?
the Aikido, man.
Yeah, the Aikido.
The Aikido.
But we got
It's unbeatable.
kickboxing.
Yeah.
Right. All right. We're taking Andrew over Tristan, and who's really
Well, if
pushing
it's both of them,
the
they
gorilla
just
over.
do the Aikido, and the monkey won't be able to do anything.
Yeah. So we're taking the Tates, two Tates.
Yep.
Over a gorilla.
Yes.
All right. 100%.
Aikido.
All right. Thank you for
No problem.
Thank you for taking my question.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, man, those Aikido powers are powerful, man.
Yeah, I got it. This has to do with the Israeli conflict in Iran.
Sure.
Okay. Do you think that it has anything to do with the relationship that Iran had with Germany back in World War II? Do you think it has any ties to that the Israelis have a bone to pick with Iran because of the ties that Germany actually had with Iran back in the World War II era?
We could look at that and examine that, but I think the main reason why is because Iran's the only country that challenges Israel's authority in the Middle East. I think that's really the main reason why they have such an issue. They want a regime change. They want to be the only nuclear power in the Middle East.
Do they think Iran is a possible threat like Germany was to them? And that's why they're doing
Israel
this
didn't exist in World War II, but
I understand.
Yeah, I would say they probably look at it that Iran is a bigger threat now. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and
Fair
I think
enough.
especially now that they're getting hit with these hypersonic missiles, I think even more so. I don't think Israel anticipated that Iran would react the way that they did, but they've literally basically destroyed their equivalent of the Pentagon.
Yes.
Right? They've attacked a bunch of strategic points in Israel. So we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I don't like war.
No,
but
I think the leadership with Bibi Netanyahu is really the demise of Israel. And
I find it interesting that he's putting his people in all this danger while he's hanging out in Greece.
Correct. Yeah, he's out and about, just hanging out. And,
Yeah, because there's a lot of innocent Israelis that don't want this, right?
100%.
And he's put his people in danger for no
Because
reason.
No matter what religion, what background you have, at the end of the day, we're all people.
Yeah.
And it boils down to having common courtesy. And when it comes down to war, there's casualties on both sides.
I agree, and this is why I'm so anti-war, man. I wish we could have played this diplomacy out a little bit more, right, and kind of come to a middle ground. But Israel wanted to do a preemptive strike, and now Iran's retaliating, and Tel Aviv is on fire, and this isn't really good for anybody. So
No, and I think what type of financial gain do you think anybody gets out of this war?
Well, the military contractors are going to make a killing.
Okay.
Oil prices are going to skyrocket.
Okay.
And this is and Iran hasn't even hit strategic oil locations yet, or closed off the Strait of Hormuz. Like if they actually do everything, we're talking about $11 gallons of gas, man, at the pump.
Yeah.
So all of us are going to feel it.
And you see that in some of the countries in South America. I mean, they'll have gas that it's $10 a gallon, $8 a gallon.
Yeah.
And some of the
So we'll see what happens, man. But we already know the Warhawks are going to make a bunch of money. Lockheed Martin, all these guys. So do you have
Absolutely.
something? No.
Thank you.
Last thoughts?
Appreciate it.
I got to. Okay. All right. One chat says if people are too scared to ask a question, Myron, what's worse, promiscuous feminists, women, or the simps and white knights who enable them? Both are equally bad, bro. Be honest. One needs the other. Closing statements. All right, guys. I'm gonna probably jump on stream here. As you guys know, there's a conflict, so I'm gonna be, covering it hour by hour, I'll be live on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Myron Gaines X. So, obviously this was a great discussion with some people here. Different opposing views, but I think we're able to get closer to the truth. But yeah, guys, I'll be live probably within 45 minutes or so. I'll be streaming back and cover what's going on with the conflict, giving you guys real-time updates. So,
There was some quality issues.
yeah.
We have fixed it, so we're gonna re-upload.
Okay, so we're going to re-upload it on YouTube or where?
All of them.
Okay, so guys, what we're going to do is we're going to re-upload. So we're going to take the videos down now, the live stream.
We're just gonna
Change files. Okay, so you want to explain that to them, or you want me to just? All right, basically, guys, they're gonna re-upload the video for you guys, so it's a better quality, so you guys can get the entirety of the discussion had here tonight. And we'll be back out here next Friday, covering more topics, that are controversial that everyone else is too scared to talk about. So we'll see you guys back out here next Friday. We'll try to start a little bit sooner. As you guys know, we had the Crypto Bros in the house, so next time we'll go a little bit longer. We'll get out here earlier. Probably start out at like 8 o'clock or so, like that.